In this video, we're going to learn how to create models using Bootstrap. So you're going to create a model like this one. We're going to have a button, and when we click on the button, we can see the model appearing on the screen. So let's go ahead and create something similar. So first of all, let's create our button. Let's place some text in the button. And let's give the button a type of button, and also let's style the button using the button class and the button primary class. All right. Okay. So now let's create the model itself. So first of all, we need to place everything inside a model, which is a div of class model. Okay, and under that we're going to have another div of class model dialog. Okay, and this will wrap the model content. And then inside the model content, we're going to have the different components of the model, starting with the header of the model, and then the body of the model, and then the footer of the model. So first, let's have the header, which is going to be a div of class model header. And similarly, the body is going to be a div of class model body, and finally the footer, a div of class model footer. Okay. All right, so let's add an ID to our model. So you're gonna give it an ID, my inquiry. Okay. We can add some more attributes, mainly for assistive technologies like screen readers. So for example, we can add a role of dialog, and basically this is going to be used mainly when the screen reader notices that the model becomes visible. With this dialog role, it'll speak the label for this specific element. Okay. Okay. We can add another attribute, area labeled by. So this attribute will reference the model title. So we're gonna choose a value later, and usually we would link this to the model header. So we're gonna have a header inside the model header, and we're gonna link the area labeled by to the header. Okay, using the ID of the header later on. Okay. So we can do that later on. And also we can add another attribute. It's going to be area hidden. And we can set that to true. Okay. So this will tell assistive technologies to skip the DOM elements of the model. Okay. So now let's populate the content of our model content. So let's have a so first of all, let's have a close button. So we're gonna have a button. Okay, we need to use an HTML entity for this, so it's gonna be okay, it's going to be this one times Okay, at the moment we can't see the model. Okay. Okay, let's create the button functionality so that we can see the model as we are populating the content. So to build the functionality, we'll need to go back to the button and add some data attributes. Okay, so the first data attribute is going to be the data target. Okay, so our target is going to be the model itself, so we need the ID of the model. So the data target is going to be the elements of ID my inquiry. Okay, and also we're going to need a data toggle, and in our case is going to be model. All right, so now if we click on the button, so you can see the model appearing. The only thing we can see at the moment is the button that we just created. This button. Okay, so let's give it a class. So we'll need a class of close for this button, as it's a close button, and we can see already it's moved to the top right of the model. And also we're going to have another attribute, so it's going to be a data attribute, which is going to be data dismiss, and we will set that to model. And what this is doing, so we're by writing this, we set in the button to close all the model dialogues on the page. Okay, so if we click on a button with this data dismiss set to model, it'll close all the model dialogues on that page. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's create our header. So let's go for an H4. Okay, and let's have some text in there. Thank you for contacting us. Okay, and as we have said earlier, okay, let's give this header an ID. Okay, for example, let's go for my model label, and let's use this ID for the area labeled by attributes for the model. Okay, so as we have said earlier, we're linking this area labeled by to the ID of the header. Okay, of the header that we have inside the model header. All right, so we're using here an HTML element to label this div in Assistive Technologies. Okay, all right. So now we've got our close button, our header. Okay, now let's move to the body content, or the model body. Okay, so we're gonna have a text area. Okay, let's give it a class of form control, and let's set the number of rows to 5 rows. And also let's give it an ID, inquiry, for example. Okay, let's give it a label as well. of your inquiry. So a label for inquiry. Okay. Now we can move to the model footer. So we've got a couple of buttons there. Let's create them quickly. So first one is going to be close, and second one send. Okay. Okay, let's style these buttons. So the first one, let's give it first a type of button, and also let's style it using the button class and also the button default class. Okay, and we're going to use a data attribute for this button. So similarly to this button, so we want this button to close all the model dialogues on the page. So we're going to give it a data dismiss that we can set to model. Okay. So moving to the next button, so type of button as well, and let's just style it using the button and button primary class. Okay, so we finished building our model. Okay, all right. Now we're going to move to something else. We will see how to use some model JavaScript events. Okay. So we're going to see, for example, how to trigger an action when the model is shown or when the model is hidden. Okay. So let's try a few examples. So first we need to have a script. So make sure that your script goes after the Bootstrap JavaScript. Okay, so let's have a script just before the end of the body element. So okay, so let's write some code that will send an alert message when the model is hidden. Okay. So we're gonna access the model using its ID, my inquiry. Okay, and then we're gonna use a method on. So this method takes a couple of parameters. So the first parameter is gonna be the event, and the second one is gonna be the function to execute for that event. So the event is gonna be, so we want the model to be shown. So in this case, the event is going to be shown. Okay. Shown.bs.model. Okay. And then let's write a function that will send an alert message. So function, no parameter, and let's send an alert message, window.alerts. So for example, hi. For example, let's just see. Okay, let's save first. Okay, let's try again. Let's refresh the page. Okay, now you can see that once the model is shown, we can see the alert message. Okay, so there are other events you can use. You can use the show event rather than shown, and the difference is that the action is gonna be triggered this time once the show instance method is called. Okay, so if we try this time, Let's refresh the page. If we try, once we click on the button, we can see the alert message even before the model shows. Okay, and similarly we can use other events like hidden. Okay, so this event, so the action this time is going to be triggered once the model is completely hidden. Okay, but if you use hide, what's going to happen is that once you click on the close button, okay, which will call the hide instance, the alert message shows up, and then after that the model disappears. Okay. All right. So let's comment that for now.